There's only two reasons why people jump onto social media. It's number one, to be entertained or to be educated. If your videos aren't doing either of them, laugh or learn. That's what I say.
I'm not buying stuff. I have too much stuff. In fact, I want to get rid of the stuff from my house. Nice. So I've put a ban on all stuff in my household. And I'm just not buying anything anymore.
We would literally stand there and our older cousins would make us run straight and smash each other and fall over. We did that our whole childhood. Yeah. How come it took until now for someone to realize that this is the best possible ever sport?
100%. Today's guest is a creator of the business Bubble, where he dissects why we buy, what we buy, and how we buy. He's worked with politicians, he's worked with business owners, and always with the bubble tea in hand, having his own podcast and dissecting all things business. Nathan Young, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, John.
Absolute pleasure.
Awesome.
Mate.
Thanks for having you on.
No,
and thanks for coming on. Sorry.
Thank you.
Needing no introduction, John Sard, co-founder of Latitude Accountants.
Great, it's so good to be here. And that's because Bulldogs are winning. All right, I thought I'd just jump straight into it. We're on a hot streak. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I forgot everything other than the Bulldogs the last 3 months. Because we've had the best start to the year that we've had since, I think, 1942 or something crazy like that.
Which is insanity.
So I'm in a really good mood today.
Very good.
I thought Adokar's addition to the Eels would have actually helped us out a little bit, but it's all right.
That's very unfortunate. That actually helped the Bulldogs out more than
he's a gun. He's a gun. So, he's one of your best players right now, Adokar. Are you a Para fan?
I was married into it, yeah.
All right. How about you get out of this boardroom right now?
That's a great podcast, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, mate. It's an absolute pleasure. All right.
If I knew.
Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Mate, I know you're very much into brands, very much into dissecting brands and understanding psychology. But before we tap on that, I was having a look at your LinkedIn yesterday. And, mate, I want to hear a little bit about your career. What got you into business? And sort of, I saw some notable things. You were a consultant at Gallup for a while. Are you a broker at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So tell me a little bit about your career, how you got to where you are, and why you love business so much.
So my dad, slave flavor as a child, really? He had a restaurant. No, he had a restaurant. He had a restaurant in Beverly Hills. Right. And when I was about 12 years old, I started working there already. And I've always had this weird fascination about how dad runs a business because, as Lebos, Asians, a lot of our families are entrepreneurs. They came to Australia with nothing and they don't speak very much English. And so somehow they got to find a way to put food on our table, right? Sure. And here we are. And so watching Dad build out the business was pretty cool. And I reckon there was a turning point for me when I realized that there were other restaurants opening up around that area that was almost, for lack of better words, taking our business, stealing the customers, right? And so a part of me was thinking at that time, as a young kid, maybe 13, 14 years old, going, what can I do to help Dad bring more of the customers back into our restaurant? Because I understand that, if there's no customers in our restaurant, we don't eat. And so I think this why machine started happening in my head. And once you have that why machine going, then everything in life kind of starts spiraling across there. So, I had a great uncle who helped me into banking, and then, I got sick of banking, and then I jumped into consulting, and then I tried something else, going to China and opening up a school. Wow. And then eventually when COVID hit, my school got shut down. Thank you, China.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then my uncle, because he was, he's probably one of, I would say in Chinatown, probably one of the most famous, well-known commercial brokers. And he goes, hey man, do you remember your mortgage stuff? I was like, I do remember my mortgage stuff. And he goes, come back onto the team. And so, joined back into his team. And then what happened was about 2 years ago, he goes, you need to somehow grow your book as well. You can't leech off my clients. I'm like, yeah, 100% right. Absolutely, right? And then so I thought, hey, for fun, everyone's starting a podcast now. And this was 2 years ago. I thought, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. So I knew that the success rate for a podcast the failure rate for a podcast, I think was something about 96%. Wow. So most podcasts would fail after 7 episodes. 96% of them failed after 7, because doing it day in, day out, if you don't have a great team like you guys, you eventually will burn out. And so I thought, okay, I'm cheap, I'm Asian, I'm not going to just get a team in the beginning, right? Yeah. And then I thought, what can I do to make sure that my branding, that, you know, whatever I'm doing, it's not going to fall into pieces. I actually have a strategy behind this. So I said, all right, I'm going to set out, I'm going to record 12 episodes and not release one. And so that way I've already crossed that boundary. Then I started releasing them. And then from there, people started going, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then you hit about, you know, maybe a few hundred, maybe a few thousand followers because you're posting every single day. To the point where I was like, okay, I'm really burnt out. Like I would tell my wife, hey, can you drive? I got to edit. Yeah. Right. Like, and so I got to a point where I thought, you know what, doing this podcast and stuff, there's a lot of business podcasts out there. How can I do something that's more related to the questions that I have in my brain? So I thought, all right, cool. I'm going to start talking about different things from the marketing space, right? Because that's what I love. And I had one video talked about the Stanley Cup, right time, right place. And then
I remember the video.
Yeah? Okay. And then people started going, all right, cool. I'll give this guy a follow. And then that's when the page started to grow. And then that's when I started to pivot going, all right, cool. I think I found my niche. And then so I just keep going down this rabbit hole.
That's a sick story, man. Very cool. So you touched on, I think the key words from there is, you know, consistency. You dropped 12 episodes to make sure you wouldn't fail. So you crossed that failure mark. But talk to me about marketing. Where do you draw your inspiration from around marketing? What fascinates you about marketing specifically? Because it's obvious that that's where your passion lies. Yeah, so it comes to asking that why and how. And then, you know, we have, like most of us, we love consuming stuff. You know, I love finding out something. I love being sold something, but then to the point where it's like, you know what, it's so good. Your marketing was so on point that I'm just going to buy it because I love it. Like, well done. 100%. I think one of the best examples that I have is probably a iPad mini, right? I don't need an iPad mini, but my goodness, the way that it was done, the way that it was presented, how you can have something that's, can I be sold something that I never thought I needed until I actually have it, then I realize that I've always been missing it. Yeah, and then so that's the fun part about the marketing side. Awesome. John, I'll come to you on marketing in a minute, but before I do, have you read any books about marketing that inspired you? Do you have any mentors like online, sort of in the space or in real life? Who inspires you in marketing space?
So I wasn't good enough to do a commerce degree at uni, and so I decided to do a marketing degree.
Yeah. You're going to get some hate comments because of that.
Yeah, 100%. That's right. Yeah, like this mortgage broker going to do commerce, what the frick?
Marketing. So marketing degree is like the Temu commerce degree.
Correct. Exactly. It's like, you know, all else fails, you just jump into the marketing course, right? And then so I did that, and I got really, really curious and really interested, even more so. And then so when I graduated from uni, I thought, okay, cool, I'm not going to touch that ever again. I'm just going to stay in my banking field. But that question's always been lingering. Like watching, you know, we go down. I mean, do you guys obviously work here, but you go to the city or a shopping center and stuff like that, and everything's trying to throw something at you. Everything's trying to capture your attention. Right. So the ones that actually do capture your attention, I like to stop, reflect, and go, hey, why? Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty smart. You know, like if you walk past like end of financial year sale, this is the best time. It's coming soon. End of financial year sale. You're going to see everyone is going to be throwing stuff at you, telling you, hey, look, we got these discounts, got those discounts. The fun part is when you're going through the shopping center and you look at the ones that actually caught your attention. You're like, how did they get what? That's the fun part.
My favorite time around end of financial year is when Officeworks and all the big corporate brands become tax agents and tax experts and give people tax advice about what you can write off. But John, tell me about your experience in the marketing field, how Latitude's evolved with marketing and what your experiences are.
I'll tell you that, you know, you said you became a Y machine. I worked in the city. We started our careers working at Hall Chadwick. So we worked on Market Street. So every morning I jump on a train, heading to Town Hall, and the foot traffic going through QVB, Market Street, George Street, like the intersection of the city. I'm 18, 19 years old. And like times like now, end of financial year, basically every single day, someone's selling you something on those streets. So you were a Y machine. I was a no machine. Like I mastered the skill of avoiding eye contact, saying no to everyone trying to hand me something. And like I became like a Zen, like I had the Zen you know, power to basically avoid and ignore everyone. But then I realized I was like overdoing the no, you know, the no machine got out of hand. And I realized that some of these things are like, you know, things I needed or services I needed. And then I started to pay more attention to what people were doing. And when you stop and speak to people, you realize the first thing they're doing is they're being really nice. So for me, the whole marketing ecosystem is like that we built at Latitude is like, how can we let people out there know that we're actually really nice guys? Because I don't know if when you have a look at us, especially like if we're just sitting there, if you have a look at our website, there's a lot of Lebos on the screen, and we don't have the the reputation
the brand
of being,
image.
the brand of being super friendly people. So we made a conscious effort to go out and say, all right, well, the first thing we want our marketing to be is relatable. And so if you have a look at what we're doing on our socials, we're goofing around, being idiots, dancing, being absolute, idiots on the page. And every time I jump in a discovery meeting, the first thing someone says to me is like, oh, I liked how relatable you guys seem, how easy, because everyone's so scared of accounting. Everyone's so scared of finance and tax. And the typical accounting persona is like old mate Charlton's or whatever, an old white Aussie guy in a suit with a deep voice, and he speaks over you and he's scary. Stuff that we don't want. That we didn't want that image. We wanted we're your mates. We're exactly like you guys, and then let every single person know that when you come and talk to us, it's going to be like talking to a friend.
For sure. And I think it's also, there's something in the relatable part of it in that we're just showing who we are. A lot of people try to pretend to be something different when they start a business because they think that's what they should be. So especially for example, when I got into accounting, and I'm sure you had a similar experience, you try to be corporate because that's what you think everyone wants of you. But really what you realize is that building a brand is a reflection sometimes of yourself. And the more character and self-image you can put in that brand, the better it's going to do, because it's far more genuine than me trying to be something I'm just not. I've got a few short, sharp questions for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
So these ones, let's try to keep them under 20 seconds, and we'll go into a disagree. So give me one brand.
Is this my no?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
So give me one brand you irrationally love. One brand that sticks out to you.
Disney.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
Actually, it reminds me. So you guys, you're the Latitude Accountants, and you are Australia's fastest growing accountant agency, right? Is that
your
word? Yeah.
Your research.
So yeah, thank you. It's the same idea that Disneyland, they call themselves the happiest place on earth.
That's right.
Right. And I love that. And it's okay to kind of be a little bit arrogant on that side. Not even arrogant, just confident. Like, hey, this is what we do. It's like Chemist Warehouse. Have you guys seen what Chemist Warehouse puts on there? So they put in a little asterisk at the bottom in Times New Roman font. It says Australia's. You know what? I have to. Whoever's watching this podcast, look it up right now. It says Chemist Warehouse has this little tagline, and it's like Australia's fastest or cheapest chemist.
Yeah.
But the way they phrase it is like, no, we're calling ourselves Australia's cheapest chemist.
I love that.
Yeah, so people think, actually, these Australia's cheapest. But no, they just said that they themselves.
Yeah, 100%. And they dominated in that space because of they. If anyone doesn't know, they were revolutionists in that industry. They destroyed the pharmacy industry and had a very innovative way of doing things. And that's a very cool brand. I love that you mentioned that.
Chemist Warehouse destroys pharmaceutical industry.
Can I tell you something about Chemist Warehouse?
Of course.
So I have a lot of Chinese clients, right? And whenever they come to Australia, one of the things that they always have to visit is a Chemist Warehouse. It's like part of the Australian experience, like Harbour Bridge, Opera House, Chemist Warehouse.
There you go.
Yeah. Because it's cheap. It's really cheap. You can buy Australian products at a really good price.
That's great. They've done the marketing's hit China mainly.
That's right.
It's a special skill to be like a low cost leader, right? You think of Bunnings had like lowest price guarantees and all that. Like it's the hardest thing in the whole world to come out and be the cheapest at what you do.
Yes.
100%.
So if you're gonna put that out there as your thing, you're going to have to work your ass off to try and be 100%. The cheapest.
Out of curiosity, have you read Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger?
Oh, I love that. I've read 3 chapters.
Okay,
I'm not going to lie. I'm not like LeBron James. I read one page. And have you guys seen those memes? Like, you guys seen them? Yeah, when he reads like one page.
That's the best.
Yeah, tell me what this book's about. It's about a guy.
Ride of a Lifetime. It's about the story of Disney and specifically Bob Iger's CEO-ship at Disney. He took it from it was having a bit of a struggle, and he revived it and took it into a better place. And now it's struggling again. Ironically, Bob Iger got appointed again a few years ago to try to turn things around.
And they announced Abu Dhabi, Disney.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Officially, announced that. Disneyland Abu
There you
Dhabi.
go. Looking forward to it. Might have to pay it a visit, mate. Abu Dhabi, very good. All right. What is one marketing trend that you think is completely overrated right now?
Oh, blind boxes.
Blind? What is that?
So you know those, Labubus and stuff like that?
No.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's 100% overrated though.
Okay, cool.
So
Describe
you know
it. What is it?
you know how those the people like to have those little monster toys that hang from their bags nowadays?
I think I've seen them. Yeah.
So they go to a shop called Pop Mart and they'll buy these boxes that have this mystery toy inside. Okay. So there's 6 that you can, like a Kinder Surprise, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know which one you're going to get. And people will line up and they'll buy the whole box and they're $30 each.
That's what they call it blind.
Okay, yeah. And so they'll have these whole unboxing things and you know what? I reckon TikTok was responsible for a lot of these blind boxes blowing up because the retention rate on a video like this, where it's, you got a box, suddenly there's already a mystery, and then the slowly opening of it, right? What do these social media platforms want? Their
Engagement.
Exactly. The longer you spend on their platform, the longer that they're happy. So it doesn't really matter what you show them, right? It's so long, whatever your video is, if you can keep them watching that longer, then they'll pump it out to more people.
100%. 100%. Give me a couple of quick hacks because this is something I've been experimenting with before TikTok locked my TikTok. I'm very upset about that. We're working on getting it back up. Yeah. So if you're out there TikTok and you please just unlock my account. But anyway, what are some quick hacks that you can give someone trying to generate a TikTok video to increase retention and to keep people engaged on their platform?
TikTok or Instagram?
Both.
Different
platforms?
Very different. Yeah. Okay. Everyone thinks, if I just make it for TikTok and just repost it for Instagram.
Okay.
What's
your favorite?
I use Instagram more.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Instagram is the modern day business card. Okay. If people go, oh, hey, how do I follow you? You're not going to go, I'll go to my TikTok, right? You'll go, my Instagram handle is this. Right. And so it's kind of just it's made that. Yeah. TikTok is a great account for virality because every video has a equal share in going viral. It's all about your attention. It's all about people liking it, commenting, and then you making sure that you respond to those comments as well. And when you do that, then the algorithm goes, all right, cool. There's interaction here. We'll pump this video out more. Don't be afraid to keep TikTok videos really simple, chill. Talk to the camera, talk to people. Doesn't have to be very pretty. You don't even have to subtitles these days. Some of the best videos are literally just someone going up there and just throwing a hook or something that's like, there's a nice balance of trying to find authenticity, right? Which is such a buzzword. But then also being a little bit of that TikTok voice, you know what I mean? So let's say, for example, you just got into the car and I just watched a video last night about Utah's soda addiction. You guys heard of that? Utah in America? That's something we can go down later on if you want. But Utah, the city of Utah, has this crazy soda addiction where on average people will drink about 2 liters of soft drink a day.
Wow.
Right, yeah. Because they have so many Mormons there, they can't drink coffee and alcohol, so soft drinks become their thing.
70% Mormon or
it's
something.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Right, but if I were to do a video on that, I would start the video something along the lines of, I don't know if anyone is talking about this, but in Utah right now, they are having this crazy soda addiction. Let me explain what's happening. So, and that you wouldn't talk to a friend like that. I wouldn't go, Jacob, you know what's happening, right? But at the same time, people are like, but you got to be authentic, right? Yeah. But being authentic, talking to you like this, like not many people are going to get caught. So there is that kind of like voice that you have to almost like put on. That's TikTok. Yeah, very simple. Instagram. Don't worry about hashtags. Hashtags are a thing of the past. The Instagram CEO confirmed that. He says that it doesn't really do anything unless people actually are searching it. It doesn't increase your, pushing it out. Right. I'd say that if you can integrate 2 of your things that you're selling, right? So like value adding content, and then maybe 1 entertainment content. Number 1, you won't tire out. And number 2, people will kind of get to see who you guys are as well. And that would what I would be going down in terms of a strategy route.
Awesome.
I wish
does Business Bubble do a marketing agency arm?
We do. So we helped out. We helped out the Liberal Party recently.
There you go.
The local election.
You post this.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. It was by luck. Yeah. One of the politicians followed me, and then they were like, "Hey, you don't sing, you don't dance, you don't wear a bikini. How did you grow your followership? By talking business." And I was like, "All right, cool. Let me kind of share with you." And he goes, "Can I bring you onto my team? Because we're going to have an election next year. And that was in 2024. Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool, no worries. So we jumped on, and then a couple of other people were like, hey, what are you doing? Like, how'd you do that? Or, you know, we want your strategies as well. Yeah. And then so I started helping a few of them out. I wish we could have done more. I wish, you know, obviously when you've politics, right? Like you were saying, like how do you as an accountant agency make sure that you balance the line between professionalism but also having fun? I think there was still that conservative kind of traditional, where they weren't really ready to cross over into it was just a little bit too much. It was just a little bit, they were just a little bit hesitant. And I think if you look at where the young voters went, the 18 to 40-year-olds, clearly they went on independent and Labor. Right? So
and Albo specifically did actually a really good job on it. What we noticed from the US election was that Trump was willing to go on to all the non-mainstream podcasts, willing to do the rounds, willing to do the Rogans, the PBDs. Albo went on the Abby Chatfield. I think that's huge for him. I think, and he did a lot of the other ones. And the Liberal Party just weren't willing to go down that route, and I think it cost them dearly. There's a lot that cost them dearly, which I'm sure you know. But you know, it's one of those things. But John, you're a TikTok expert. I feel like overnight.
Look, Samantha Cater came on once, and we had a podcast, and she said you somehow have to always remember the true intention of the platform is social, so you can't go against that. So everything you do, you still have to tie in a social element. If you just jump on, do direct selling on every reel, every bit of content, you're going to get no engagement because no one wants to be, you know, there's no machines out there like I was in the streets of the city. There's no machines out there on the socials, and it's as easy. You don't even need to break eye contact. You can just swipe up. You know what I mean, and it's over. So, you know, it has to be social. It has to be real. It has to be you. You know, I'm, as I mentioned, going on a run of posting my celebrations after every Bulldogs game since we won 9 games this year, and I cannot believe how much engagement they're getting, cause especially since I have no followers and I have 3. You know, my mum watches my TikTok and that's it.
Your dad featured on it.
So every video hits 30,000 views. Just celebrating a Bulldogs win. One, there's tapping into the emotion. It's real. They can see I'm happy. 2, there's a big Bulldogs fan base out there that are probably loving the content, and you know, it's just the best thing about the social is the more you actually post and the more you do that stuff, the more you learn yourself, and you can be reactive. It becomes intuitive. You can tweak, you can pivot, and then you can continue to produce more of the same content that works.
For sure. That's very cool. All right, moving along. Nathan, what brand do you think has the best marketing in the world right now?
I would go back to Disney. I really like what is it Ritz-Carlton?
That's the one where they take their overly hospitable, almost like unreasonable hospitality.
Yeah.
They were linked to do refunds if you didn't like your stay or something like that, customer ratings.
Correct. So they got this guy called Josh. The guy was on Hunger Games. Okay. And they did a little series with him. And it was professionally shot, cinematic cameras. And it was almost like something that you would jump on and continue to watch as like a little series. Now that worked really well for their Instagram because they have such a big brand. They're Ritz-Carlton. They're a hotel chain. They can't really do, you know, Bulldog celebrations videos, right? Like the CEO is not going to do that. And so how do you maintain a story that people want to jump onto whilst making it fun? Because we have to remember that there's only 2 reasons why people jump onto social media. It's number 1 is to be entertained or to be educated. If your videos aren't doing either of them, laugh or learn. Right? That's what I say. If they're not doing either of them, most people are going to swipe away, right? So if you can find something, whatever the business is, maybe it's an accountancy, right? If you can find a reason for them to either laugh or learn, then I think that would always help. There's one that I want to share with you. I don't remember the name of it. I'm really bad with remembering the name of the accounts, but he's gone viral because he is a lawyer and he talks about how to get out of certain sticky situations. So if you get caught at a rave,
I've got the guy on my mind.
You know, I'm talking that Asian guy, right?
Yeah.
You get caught at a rave with, you know, drugs. What's the first thing you need to do? Just don't say anything, right? And he says, if you get caught in a sticky situation like that, I'm the lawyer XYZ. And so I think a lot of accountancies and a lot of normal like mortgage brokers and stuff like that, they're all selling education. Like if you want to save on your tax, or if you want to buy a property, or if you want to scale your property from 1 to 2 properties or something like that, you need to do this. I think they need to just tone it down a little bit and realize that the people on your platform are either here to learn or laugh. You're 18 to 40-year-old people that are using your platform. They're not 40 to 50 or 60 years old who need something a little bit more formal and serious, right? Have fun. Yeah. Don't stress out too much about it.
For sure. No.
I would say, even as the oldest person in this room, would say, even if you're over 40.
You don't. I'm Asian, man. I could be at 50, bro.
I just like to
Are you 18 or 45?
Yeah, see, you never know.
Yeah, I'd like to represent the old generation. And sometimes they also like fun and short things too. It doesn't have to, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be formal once you hit 40.
That's true,
Yeah, I'm not 40 yet, but I'm getting there. I'm actually getting so close to 40 that I've signed up with a personal trainer. And,
there you go. Congrats.
My goal, thank you so much. I've done no training sessions yet. I started on Monday, so this is like definitely, like, if I started calling myself a power lifter now, that would be without lifting one barbell.
Question: how did you choose your personal trainer? There are so many personal trainers out there. How did you end up choosing that guy?
Well, it was a girl, firstly. Her name's Bethany Parker. She's a power lifter herself. She's one of my clients, and she's actually, you know, she won't mind me saying, she's very good and very, like, she's a competitive power lifter, and she's one of the best in the business. So I've been working with her on her business for a long time, and I always had in the back of my mind, if I want to do any training or powerlifting, I'd go straight to Beth, because, you know, I see what she does, and I've seen all her results, and she competes. She uses her social media, obviously. So to answer your question, like, I follow her on social, but I've also got a personal relationship with her.
Yes.
I'm going to be competing eventually in masters level competition, because once you get over 40, I'm not there yet. In 2 years from now, when I will be, I'll be officially masters. So
you'll be the youngest, but you'll be competing with the 80-year-old.
I'll be competing with the old guys.
Great. It works well for you.
So it's basically like TikTok generation, then masters powerlifting, and then retirement village. So I'll be moving into phase 2.
3 steps.
That's when you go to pickleball.
Bro, tell me about pickleball, Nathan. I've seen trending everywhere. Pickleball.
Yeah.
Have you seen this trend? Tell me it's a new thing that has just sort of come around.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard of pickleball 5 years ago, and today all I hear about is pickleball and pickleball this and pickleball that. Is that a trend?
So I first discovered it when I realized that I think Serena Williams and LeBron James and Tom Brady all invested in a pickleball team in America. Like, they created like a pickleball competition. They invested into a
3
team.
goats.
Yeah, 3 goats, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, cool. There's something happening here. I've never played pickleball, so I'm maybe not the right person to explain it. But I sitting in this room, we've seen it, right? We kind of know a little bit about it. The question is, how did it grow, and what are they doing well?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why are they making so much noise right now?
Please tell us. That has to be your next Instagram or TikTok.
I mean, just
everyone's talking about it.
Everyone's talking about it. I think just off the top of my head, it's accessible. You can divide a tennis court up into 2 and have more people play. And that's why I think sports like basketball are so popular in China, because you can have 1 court, right? Normal basketball, you have 10 people on the court, right, in a full court game. But in China, they don't play full court. They only play half court. So you have 8 people on this side, 4 and 4, and 8 people on that side. So you have 16 people. So you got a lot of people. How do we fill up space? And I think pickleball, in a similar way, it does that. The courts are condensed. You can have more people playing at the same time. You can have people from all ages. Somehow, some way, they've managed to make it sound like it's accessible for not only young people but for old people. And when you do that, look at the biggest booming generation. Like, look at the generation that's about to hit retirement homes.
Aging population.
For sure.
Yeah,
people like yourself, don't know.
Me next year. Do you know what? Speaking of like social media and like pickleball, right? Whatever. I don't care about pickleball, but I tell you what I do care about. Growing up, I played rugby league, and bro, on the scene of social media right now is the most amazing new sport that I've ever seen. It's so attractive. It's so cool to watch. And I wish this was a sport when I was a kid. It's called Run It. And it's basically, you get a track of like 20 meters. Okay. It's like a grass patch. You get the biggest units you can find. You put them at opposite ends of each other, 20 meters, you blow a whistle, and they run as hard as they possibly can and smash each other. The person who falls over loses. The guy still standing wins. And bro, let me tell you, it's the best ever sport I've ever seen. I'm this close to trying to start a masters run at competition so I can start running it at people, bro.
Don's going to do masters.
Padding? No padding.
No padding, bro. They just run at each other and smash each other, and bro, you have to look up Run It.
I think
it is the best thing I've ever seen.
It's called Run It Straight, from what I think. And it's run by a few Islander blokes. and they run it in different areas. So they'll go to like Mount Druitt and run it there, and then they'll go to Campbelltown and run it there.
Bro, these
80s,
units,
unbelievable.
these Polynesian big boys, bro, they run so hard at each other.
Yeah.
They want to explode each other's brains. I'm telling you, it's one of the most exciting up and coming sports. It's gonna, you know what? I reckon.
Yeah.
If Dana White catches a glimpse
100%,
of it, it's like it's like power slap, but with running.
Correct.
If he catches a glimpse of it, he'll buy them out, and he'll put them right up there with UFC and power slap.
100%. You should sit. The crowd have their favorites. They G each other up. There's like a reigning champs of like
100%. Bro, we used to do that as kids. I grew up in Western Sydney in Bankstown, Lebo community. We loved the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
What did we do? We weren't fast. We was the fat kids, right?
Yeah.
So we weren't halfbacks and wingers and that. We were just fat kids. And actually, one of the fat kids, I've said it on the podcast before, was Timmy Manor, is a friend of mine. We grew up together. We would literally stand there, and our older cousins would make us run straight and smash each other and fall over. We did that our whole childhood. Yeah. How come it took until now for someone to realize that this is the best possible ever sport?
100%.
Just big units running at each other and breaking each other's bones.
Absolutely. With Sean Johnson commentating.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
Sure, he's a great commentator. Did you see last night he was commentating, and the Roosters winger, his name is Marky Mark, they call him. I want to say his name. It's Nawanga Niwa Tase or something. I absolutely butchered it. He scored the best try of all time. But after the show, just the way that Johnson kept talking about it, it pumped it up, bro. So commentary is everything.
He's excellent, Sean Johnson. All right, moving along to movies, because I need some movie recommendations. I've got a bit of time nowadays. And so you're a movie buff yourself. I very rarely watch movies. I don't enjoy watching movies, so I'm hoping you can change my mind. What's a couple of movies you think you have to watch, that everyone has to watch this movie, and something, or maybe even something you watched recently?
I always preface by saying there's two things you need to do before you watch a movie.
Right.
Number one, choose your location.
Okay.
Right. It's really important where you choose your location. It could be at home, and then your kids are running around and yelling at you, and then you get interrupted. That's why TV shows really suck for me, because I can't, like, at home. And the second thing is, if you are watching it at home, put your damn phone away. Or if you're watching in cinemas, like, I've seen kids these days swiping through TikTok while the movie's playing in the cinema. I'm like,
crazy. Hey,
man, there's a little bit of respect for the cinema. Come on.
That's so Asian of you to call that a respect thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's like your parents saying, hey, listen, you have to respect the cinema.
Respect the cinema.
We paid to come in, put your phone away.
What would you say?
I would say you got to enjoy the experience. Okay. And you can't enjoy the experience if you're distracted. So put your phone away so you can fully immerse yourself in the experience. But you went the shame route, which is, I find it very interesting.
Yeah. Shame on you.
Have some respect.
That's right. I think I always like asking people this question, like, what's your favorite movie? But I always preface it by saying, and I make people think a little bit when they do this. I always say to them, because whatever your favorite or your most comfort movie is, actually says a lot about you. Right. So people go, maybe should I say my Hangover is my favorite movie? So I might actually throw that question off to you.
I was going to say, let's go around the room. Yeah, John.
What is your favorite comfort movie? Don't have to be favorite movie. What's your favorite comfort movie?
Comfort movie? Man, look, growing up, I watched the Rockies 1,000 times. For some reason, I know it's not a comfort movie. It's like a very competitive. But for me, I had on my 21st birthday, I got 4 Rocky box sets as a gift, and they were actual back in when I was turned 20, because I'm very old. When I turned 21, they were actual DVDs.
What's that?
So the Rockies, all the action movies I grew up. But one movie is actually like was one of my favorites all time, bro. I'm so old. The Green Mile. Have you any of you seen The Green Mile?
100%.
One of the best movies. You've never seen it?
Percy.
Tom Hanks, right?
Yeah.
He runs the jail.
Is it black and white or colour?
No, it's colour.
Bro,
Mr. Jangles? Mr. Jangles? A little
black and white. There was a black guy and a white guy. They were the main actors, but there was colour in the movie.
Okay, great.
I gotta kill yourself right now.
I'm only a few years younger, but it feels nice that your age is going to start with a 4.
Bro, my beard's so grey, bro.
All right.
Yeah,
so
that's mine,
Green
man.
Mile.
Green Mile.
Yeah.
I'll go with mine. I have two movies that really stand out. One of them is, this is going to sound really lame, but Home Alone. I grew up watching Home Alone. So I really 1 and 2. All the rest aren't really Home Alone. They should
PTSD. Yeah, you got
yeah,
PTSD.
something similar. And then so that's number 1. And then the other movie I watched that I thought was phenomenal is A Bronx Tale. Chaz Pilamentary had a one-man show, and then he redid that into a movie with Robert De Niro. So it's a cool story, and I love the quote at the end says, "There's nothing worse than wasted potential." So something that really stuck out to me. So that's me.
Very nice.
Read into that what you wish. I know you think that tells a lot about people. What's yours?
Forrest Gump.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks too.
Big Tom Hanks
My
fan.
brother.
Yeah. And then and Beauty and the Beast.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast
cool.
was the first movie I watched in cinemas.
Really?
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry, it was DuckTales, then Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast is 92.
Yeah.
There you go. That's when I was born.
Yeah, 92.
You weren't born, eh?
So I was born in 92.
There you
Yeah,
go.
same. Nice. What month?
July.
Okay, cool. Just in time for financial year, mate.
That's right. No, it just passed. Right? So
That's
everything my parents bought, they had to wait until the next financial year to claim back, right? Yeah.
Very good. So,
Like all those Disney movies, they're the same theme over and over again, right? Like
the hero.
Save the girl. Save the world, get the girl.
Yeah,
type
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. There's a formula. It's a hero's journey, and
The same formula.
People
and
like
over.
that formula. And when you mess with the formula, for example, the most recent Snow White movie,
Crazy.
that's where you kind of get a shitstorm, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah,
That's what happens when, you throw that in there and then everyone goes, okay, cool. That's not what we kind of wanted. I think when it comes to like marketing a movie or something like that, there's also an expectation that you have to kind of adhere to. If the last Avengers Endgame turned out to be a big romance movie, you'd be like, dude, So I think there's an expectation. So I think that the nice thing is that the new movies like Lilo and Stitch and stuff like that, they're going to stick to the actual game plan, what people actually go in there. There's an expectation, but also subverting it just a little bit enough where you go, you know what, I'd pay money to go see that.
Bro, Hollywood lost its way for like a good 10-year period.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest, Hollywood's lost its way completely for a long time, but really badly with the storylines where like they just, I don't know, if box office probably took a hit.
Yeah.
And like movies were not exciting anymore because you go in and you're getting like, bro, they're sending you there to basically go political on you and try to convince you of some stupid perspective, some far left rubbish, and you just want to go watch a movie. I don't care if you're left or right or whatever, but you don't I've spent money. Respect the cinema, right? I've spent money to be here. I've got the popcorn, I've got everything, just so you can convince me of your agenda. Just get out of my face. Just show me a good story, 100%. Make me cry, make me laugh, let me feel good, go home happy, so I can come out tomorrow and punch out 20 tax returns.
That's it. There's a couple of spaces that weren't meant to be political. One was sport.
Yeah.
One was the movies.
Yeah, it's
one
sacred.
was
It's like a holy place, bro. You go there
to
to just enjoy some wholesome, fun, like something that uplifts you. Bro, there was Avengers Endgame where they all come back and they all fight together. Bro, that feeling you get when that happens. That, bro, if you're on your phone, you can't enjoy that. And also, if they try and make it like something political, it ruins the whole movie as well. So, like, just give us a traditional story where a strong man comes and saves the day. You know what I mean? And let me enjoy it. Let me cry. Go home happy.
That's it.
Or Ronda Rousey comes to
I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with that too. We're going to have to move into agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Because Nathan, our marketing coordinator, is looking at me. Time's flying, bro. So I'm gonna move it along. All right. So this is a bit of a controversial take. So we got 4 controversial sort of takes.
Very cool.
But I want your agree or disagree on these, and we'll go around the room. So our first one is men are more easily manipulated by marketing than women. Agree or disagree?
I agree 100%.
I go with men are more easily. Yeah,
I agree 100%.
agree.
Let me kick off because I'm keen.
Yeah.
I reckon they're so easily manipulated because women are beautiful, okay? And men are beautiful too, but not the same way.
Different type of beautiful.
And like sex sells in marketing. So whenever you put beautiful women on anything, men are just attracted and like they're stuck on it. Whereas I feel like women have got like the more baseline, like they're not easily as tricked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're just tricked with our eyes.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah, done. I completely agree with that. I think men are far more emotional when it comes to the selling and marketing side of things.
Too.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think men allow ego, allow that competitive spirit to get in the way, and they're willing to push the boundaries a bit when they are sold to. So I think men think they are more logical than what they are, because I think the saying goes that people buy more emotionally than they do logically. People like to think they buy logically, but really they buy emotionally. And I think it's one of the few spaces that men get emotional in, is the selling and marketing space. Obviously, I think here's my analysis. I think women consume more small things. So like everyone's got the partner where every day you get home and there's new things at the door that you had no idea, and then they've seen it on Instagram and there's a new thing every day. But I think on bigger things, men can be more emotional. That's my experience with it. What do you think, Nathan?
I think everyone's playing even playing field. Right. I think of Costco, right? And if you look at the demographic that walks into Costco, I think it's actually quite balanced. By the way, the reason why I disagree is because my wife is that person. I'll come home, like if I'm working at home, like this guaranteed I'm going to get a ring in the doorbell. Someone saying, I got delivery. I'm like, that is not my delivery. See, guys are really simple. For example, if we find a t-shirt that fits us and we we'll buy it and we'll buy 3 other colors of the same thing. Right. And probably the same thing twice as well, right? Because it's just good. It's a good fit. You guys agree? Yeah. Okay, cool. I think with women, I think there's something matches something, right? And this is just clothes, right? When it comes to going back to Costco, right? I think it all matters on where everything is based, and it also depends on what the needs of what's the purpose of them going in. I always think in the beginning. Okay, have you ever been through a Costco experience before?
Yes. No.
Okay, so when you walk into Costco, the first things that you see are the most expensive things. They're the TVs, right? Because that's price anchoring. So instantly you think, all right, $4,000 for a TV, cool. Everything after that $4,000 is actually cheaper, right? Then you go further down the line and you see on one of the displays that sit out of the aisles a vacuum cleaner, and the vacuum cleaner suddenly is only $199. In your head, you've already got the price anchored for $4,000. You're like, that's actually not bad.
100%.
Yeah. And then knowing my wife or like, my sister or some other, like some other family member who's like a girl that I'm with in Costco, they'll go on the phone. It's not bad. Kmart sells for that price, but this is actually a bit better. You know what? And suddenly leave Costco and we've got a new vacuum
and you
cleaner.
spent $4,000. That's just on many different items.
That's right.
Do you know what? That's like the beer goggles analogy where like you go to a club and then you start drinking and like the hottest girl in the club doesn't want to talk to you. So then you start drinking and then as the night goes on, your standards drop more and more and more. So at the end of the night, you end up taking home the one that no one else wanted, but that's sort of like what happens at Costco.
I don't know. I've never been to a club. I'm a good Christian guy.
Me.
Yeah. What do you?
I was talking
about movies, right?
I was talking about a friend. Right. Obviously not me. I've been married since I was 6.
And now you're 40. So that's a long time.
Congratulations. Well done.
That's beautiful, bro. What a great
story. My mate.
But the best part is that middle section. In Aldi and in Costco, you know that middle section.
The Aldi middle section. Yeah. That's if heaven had a like manifestation physically, that would be the Aldi middle section.
They're irrationally cheap things there.
Yeah.
It blows your mind.
And and they never advertise what they're going to sell.
Yeah.
So you're always there. It's a treasure trove.
That's right.
Other companies that I find that are like treasure troves that I think are really easy for not just women and men to get manipulated is Kmart. Everyone right now is going to. Has anyone in this room gone to Japan recently?
Everyone I know except me.
Yeah, cool.
And John, apparently. So
they have a store that sells a lot of like Daiso. Have you guys heard of Daiso? No. So they're like a variety store. They are set. They're created to be designed like a jungle, where you go in there and you don't know what's actually there, and you just continue to look and look and look.
So it triggers that, like if you like exploring, it triggers that gene in your brain where like the chemicals of exploration.
Yes.
So you can explore, find. I would hate that because I actually what I like to do is know exactly what I want to go buy.
Yeah.
Do it in the fastest possible time, and then if I can, like on the way home, do something like get more things out of the way. Like what actually gets my chemicals going is ticking off as many things on my list as possible. My wife, for example, loves exploring. Like she loves going, checking all the options. So if you're that explorative type, then that business is going to really lure you in.
It's like the supermarket. Like we would go in there. If my wife said to me, hey, we need to buy Huggies, we need to buy some nappies, no problem. I'll go in there, I'll get a box and I'll get back out.
Done.
But what she would think about is she would go in there, get the Huggies and go,
what else?
Wait, those crackers and stuff are on sale.
Yeah.
And then so easily she'll walk out there when she was only meant to buy one thing.
That's weakness, brother. I'm a no machine. I go in, I get what I need, get out, and I treat everything in life that way. Do you know what I mean? Every single experience, I try to shut off all outside stimuli. I'm very hard to market to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think its personalities will dictate. Like if you understand psychology, which is everything you're doing, you're going to be able to tap those exact, into those exact predispositions that the market has. Yeah, and then the market's screwed.
That's right.
Consumerism gone mad.
You know what I've found is been annoying me lately is I'm a massive exploration sensory.
You are. You love a good explore.
I love it. Anyway, and so the problem is when I go shopping, I have to find one item, then I have to find 3 alternatives, and I have to try it on, and I have to try all the colors. I'm not the bloke who walks in, picks one shirt, and then gets 3 colors because I have to see how the colors look on me before I buy them. So anyway, it's turned me off shopping because I go out for one shirt and I'm there for 4 hours. And it does my head in, so I've decided I'm no longer buying stuff. I've told everyone I'm not buying stuff. I have too much stuff. In fact, I want to get rid of the stuff from my house. Nice. So I've put a ban on all stuff in my household, and I'm just not buying anything anymore. And that's it. Bro, how come we can't just have 2 shirts and we just alternate those shirts? You wash them and you wear the next shirt on the next day. Why do we have to have fashion? Why is fashion a thing? Know. Bro, it's done my head in. I just want to buy one thing, use that thing, and then I want to have one plate in my household. I get that plate, I wash it when I'm done, and I put it back in the thing. And then the next day I get to my plate again. Is that too much to ask for, bro?
No. I wish everything was uniform. It'd be much more efficient if everyone had to just wear the same shirt,
same
pants,
haircut, same shirt, same. Yeah. Let's move to China, bro.
That rant, Ray, if you crop that out and put on TikTok, I reckon that will.
All right, done.
Yeah.
Nathan approved. We'll move to the next agree or disagree.
All right.
So discount. Where's he come up with this stuff?
I don't know.
Discounts are a psychological scam. How do you even agree or disagree with that? Discounts are a psychological scam.
Yeah.
A discount. I'd go with disagree.
All right, you go.
I don't know why. No, it's a difficult. You go first.
All right, look, discounts are a psychological scam because more often than not, the market will dictate a price. So I'm going to put my accountant hat on and say, no matter what you do, the market supply meets the market demand, and you arrive at a price. If I sit here and I say, Nathan, listen, bro, I like you. You got a nice necklace and you're really smart. I'm going to sell you accounting services. But, bro, I do it for everyone else $500 a month, but for you it's $400 a month. Don't worry. And I shake your hand on it. All I've done is I've tried to present to you a scenario where if you actually agree and sign my terms, you are saving money, so you're better off than everyone else, so you feel better about yourself.
Correct.
The reality is I've just put it at the position that, 1, I charge everyone else the same price, and 2, that's probably the maximum price you're willing to pay, and that's the value I'm giving you. So if I just came to you with the price up front, I imagine it wouldn't have been as enticing to you as if you knew you're going to get a discount. Therefore, psychological scam has been enacted. You're now my client, sucked in.
Yeah, exactly.
Nathan, your thoughts?
I'm going to put them on broker hat, right?
Yeah, right.
So I think of all the people that sell off the plans, right? Yeah, I'll give you a 5% discount. I won't do it for anyone else, right? Yeah. But they did it for everybody else.
You best believe you got the least discount. Actually,
he gave everyone 8%, 8.8%.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I don't think it's I hate the scam word. I think that's my problem with this question.
Sure.
It's not a psychological scam. It's a tactic, but it's a tactic that a business can employ to meet the market's needs. So I don't like when we use psychological scam because then I can say selling is a scam. Psychological scam. Doing anything is a psychological scam because really human nature is very psychological and emotional.
But you're playing semantics then. You're saying it's not a psychological scam, but it is manipulation. It is motivation. It's a tactic.
Yeah. It's not a scam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scam's a strong word.
But we live in a world where everyone wants to be scammed. Okay? And they don't want to be scammed like in a way where you're hurting them. But there's a saying in sales where it says, sell them what they want, give them what they need.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so we are scamming, but are we when I see someone that is, let's say I'm a PT, and I see someone that's hugely overweight, okay? And I sell them the idea that they're going to have like rock hard abs and like, pick up chicks on the beach, this and that. They're probably not going to go from that to that, but you can help them improve their lifestyle,
absolutely,
get to a relative size, have better longevity in their life. So if you sell them that, but you improve their life, get them to a healthy weight, and they live 20 years longer, you haven't scammed them, but you've motivated them to do something that's best for them. And I say this to Tufik, and I say it to everyone, I say the difference between manipulation and motivation is if what you're convincing them to do is in their best interest. So what you want to do is sell products or services that help people, okay? And then if you're motivating them, manipulating them, scamming them, tricking them to get there, but they walk away better than what you found them, then you've done them a good work and a good service. So at the end of the day, you're justified in what you do.
So it's being responsible with your.
It's provide better value than what you're taking. Give more than what you take.
For sure.
And that's the underlying principle of business. It's like if you're giving more value than what you're taking, if you promise someone you do 4 meetings with them a year and you give them 6, and then you save them tax and you help them grow their business, okay, you're giving them more value than what they thought they were getting, more they're paying. You know what they're going to do? They're going to give you 5-star Google review. They're going to tell their mates about you. They're going to recommend you on socials. You're going to grow your business. There's nothing better in marketing than actually doing a good product, doing a good job. Just do a good job, provide a really good service. Then all the dollars you spend marketing is going to be fruitful, and it's so much easier to retain a client than to sign a new one in the first place. So get a repeat customer. Make sure your products are good. If you're selling products, make sure they don't fall apart and they're rubbish.
Completely
Highest possible quality all times.
Agree. We'll go over to a couple more. We'll make these short and sharp because we've got a bit of a discussion here. So we'll do, you should not be loyal to a specific brand. Agree or disagree? You should not be loyal to a specific brand. Agree or disagree? I'm going to go with disagree.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Nathan, go up first.
If you like them, then follow them. Do
100%.
it. Yeah. I'm unashamedly, I'm a big Disney fan. I go to all the parks except for Paris so far.
Yeah.
And I've got Disney merch, everything like that. I've got shares,
Right.
because I believe in the brand.
You back it.
And you know what? It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever everyone says, it's woke, it's all that stuff. You know what? It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And it makes my wife happy as well.
Yeah.
And so we just have a happier place because we have it.
That.
Same with Apple products, right? I prefer Apple products because it makes
Because they're much better.
my ecosystem is
Much better than
Exactly.
Android.
The
Android's a shit.
ecosystem.
It's connected to my TV, it's connected to my laptop, everything just simultaneously works.
Yeah,
Right?
I
So
agree.
I'm happy to stick with it.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think Apple has done an unbelievable job of getting you into their ecosystem and putting all their products around you, making it all so seamless. I always say Android users, the way Androids are developed is they all get into the room, all the Android devs, and they say, okay, guys, what's all the features that we can get into this phone? And they're all spitballing, and there's a million different features, and they shove every feature into this phone. And then the Apple dev team gets in and says, okay, what are the Android ideas? Let's pick one and let's put that in our phone, and everyone will like that, and that'll be the feature they use, and it's beautiful. So all the Apple users are just simple, efficient people, just want one solution. All the Android users want all the latest little nerdy, bro, I don't need that. It's a phone. Let me do my thing. Let me be a part of the ecosystem. It's seamless. It's beautiful. John, what do you think about being loyal to a brand?
All right, you shouldn't be loyal to a specific brand. Disagree. 100% think you should be loyal to specific brands. Brands are that exactly. They come and they show you exactly what they've done in the past. That's a sign of what they're going to do in the future.
Yep.
Okay? I've had so many clients over the years that have just out of curiosity made the big mistake of leaving us and trying another accountant. And out of those, we've had many, many times where they come back and they say, I'm so sorry, can you please take us back? You know, this went wrong, that went wrong. When you're standing on this side of the fence, the grass always looks greener on the other side of the fence. If someone is meeting the needs, the core need of what you're doing for a price that you're happy with, it's inefficient to take the emotional, mental energy of exploring other options if you don't need to explore other options. Close out all the loops of all the things that need changing now. Do not create avoidable work. Avoidable work is having to spend the time looking for a new brand or a new product when there's nothing wrong with the old one. Okay, use that energy productively to find something you actually need. All right, and too many people get bogged down in analysis paralysis because they're making decisions that they don't have to make about products or brands they don't have to make. Bro, if you like the burgers at Hungry Jack's, go to Hungry Jack's. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Just go to Hungry Jack's.
What a tagline, eh?
Do you know what I mean? It's a great
Australia's
tagline.
fastest growing accountancy.
I've got some more taglines.
Just go,
Like
bro.
he's-
If you love a Whopper with cheese, bro, hit the Whopper with cheese every day
time.
like a boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Whopper
yeah.
with cheese every single day. Like it's good. If
Yeah,
it works
yeah,
for you, it works for you.
yeah.
Why do you have to try then?
Yeah.
You know? And then again, you could get stuck in your ways. All right, so we'll put a pinch of salt on that, a bit of Salt Bay on that. But at the end of the day, I like the same. I like if it works and it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Very good. Last agree or disagree, and we'll do a couple of minutes on some debating stuff. So, influencer marketing has killed TV, billboards, and radio. Agree or disagree? I'm going to go with disagree. Nathan, very quick to the paddle there. We're all going to disagree. Nathan, tell us why you disagree.
I still think billboards, TV, radio still has a place.
Absolutely.
There are people that don't. For example, we were just talking just before this podcast started. I mentioned a couple of names of influencers, and I think they're pretty well known across Sydney, definitely. You've never heard of them, right? So I think there is always still a place for that. And I think that's why brands still pay so much money to, have a ad in the cinemas before the movie starts.
For sure.
For a radio ad.
Super Bowl ads.
Bro, billboards, like the last election, we were discussing about billboards with some of the politicians. We got their faces up at Westfields, just on the, as like their face. I still think there's a place for that. People still pay for that space.
For sure, for sure. My take on this is always the Coca-Cola sign in the cross. If Coca-Cola didn't think that was valuable, they would have taken that down. But as long as Coca-Cola have that billboard up, I still think billboards are valuable.
I think these conventional media channels like TV, billboard, radio will always be around because we're in a generation where you have to pull on demand a lot of content, right?
Yeah.
Now, has anyone ever sat in front of a TV and a Netflix and spent 30 minutes going through Netflix titles, not picking a movie and going to sleep?
Standard.
That's a real thing.
I have.
What I do every
I've
night.
done that, right? Do you know the luxury sometimes of turning on the TV and then pushing to you the content? Them telling you what to watch, jumping on the radio, you just listen. You don't have to make any decisions. It's just all there. You're not pulling it. It's not on demand. They're just feeding it to you. And they've just removed one decision you have to make that day or in that drive or on that night. And like I said to you before, it's more efficient to make less decisions. So you can now spend that decision-making energy making a useful decision, not what stupid Netflix movie you're going to watch.
100%. My thing is I watch all the promos, previews, and then I just
go to
turn
sleep.
it off and go to sleep. That's why I've put a ban on all stuff.
Yeah. Jacob's Netflix and chill is watching all the promos and then sleeping.
Calling it a day.
Nike's marketing team put out something the other about a year ago, and they said, do you understand the reason why we continue, like everyone knows our name, Nike, right? But the reason why we continue to put out billboards and ads and stuff like that is because if people forget you, if people can't see you, they'll forget you.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. Very good.
So, one more thing on radio. I've been jumping on radio recently, last year or two, and there's something about traditional or conventional media that is theatre, bro. Just the theatre of a radio studio, a TV studio, the voice, like they've curated people for those mediums. Like you go on the radio, then you got a guy with a voice, like Jimmy Smith on
voice.
SEN. He's got the radio voice. You go on TV, they've got a. You still see 24-year-old female presenters coming on doing and they're speaking in like the
newscaster voice, right?
The newscaster voice. I'm like, hold on. When I was young, I thought they were old Aussies that spoke like that. But now I'm watching young Lebo chicks on TV speaking like that, and I'm like, this is a voice. This is theatre. And there's something it draws you in, and there's like a mysticism around like traditional TV and radio that we don't want to lose that medium. It's 100%.
fun. There's something to be said about the radio voice. Have you ever, back when you were growing up, you've never seen these people and you've only ever heard them on the radio, and then you see them. I'm like, oh, that's not what I imagined you would look like. Ever. So
I all thought they looked like someone from Home and Away.
That's right. That's what they were supposed to look like, and then they showed you some other brand.
100%.
All right, we'll finish up with a couple of topics here. So, the one I want to go into is the tagline is: does every business need to become a content brand? So, a lot of our business owners as well, small business owners, they just, let's say you're a cafe, right? And you just want to sell good food and you're in a high traffic location and you want to let the food talk for itself and then word of mouth and all these different things. But then you're competing with someone who's online. They have the latest, food porn sort of things on their TikTok and their Instagram, and they're very trendy and they do the Instagram or the TikTok trends and everyone wants to go to their cafe, and that's what you have to compete against. Does every business need to become a content brand? Or is there still place for the quieter business who just makes the best product and eventually gets heard? What are your thoughts around that, Nathan?
So another question I'll ask is, does every restaurant need to have an A-frame outside of the door? No.
Right.
Some restaurants have table settings outside the door. There's a Five Dock Deli over there that have a line that goes out the door, and that literally is marketing when someone drives by. Right. Sometimes content is really interesting because you might reach, especially if you're geometrically targeted, located. Let's say, for example, you're an accountant firm, right? You guys are based in Sydney. Of course, you can operate for Sydney-wide, but if someone from America follows you...
And soon to be Melbourne, FYI.
Oh, Melbourne, there you go. But if someone in America follows you, no point. What's the point, right? So it just... I think, yes, it's important, but make sure that it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to pay an influencer to get you to, go, I just... touch base at the most stunning, accountant firm in Sydney, right?
With the influencer voice.
Influencer
voiceover.
You won't believe what I just found right here in Homebush. Olympic Park, I found this massive accountant firm.
Nathan, you're hired to do all our voiceovers ever. That was beautiful. I was captivated. So do you think there is an advantage though? If you're let's compare the two cafes again. Right. One's got the influencer doing the influencer voice telling us how drippy the egg was and whatnot. And the other's just got, great burgers, but no one's talking about it online. Is there an advantage with having the content brand, or, is it just an additional extra and it's great?
It's to reach a different audience.
Right.
It's to reach a different audience. Right. Guy Sebastian last year, he was kind of doing a bit of a complaint on TikTok about how every artist nowadays needs to also be a content creator. And I understand that, you're a musician, you're really good at your craft at making songs. Suddenly you have to find hooks and stuff like that to content create your song and put it out there. Yes, that's, if you wanted to keep to your radio audience, that's fine, just do what you're doing. But if you wanted to reach an audience that, doesn't really, Spotify's not really good at finding new songs, especially if you're a small time artist. But TikTok suddenly has this opportunity where you can actually blast your stuff out to a bigger, wider audience. 100% play the game, do it, right? But if it's not the audience that you're after, then don't waste your time on it.
100%. It's a great perspective.
I would say do waste your time on it no matter what, and not to push back against it, just a different perspective.
Yeah.
I realized after we started doing social media, we were a great business, started in 2011, lots of word of mouth, grew really well, everything was going great. But things went 10 times better when we did the social media. And it wasn't because social media was providing leads. It was finding a place where people could go to learn about exactly who we are and our personalities before they walked in the door. What's efficient about that, and I'm all about efficiency obviously, is that when they walk in the door after seeing your socials, they know exactly who you are. That's one less decision they have to make when they come in.
Correct.
They decided they liked you, they're here. Bro, if you're here and you've seen my social media, the only reason you're not going to sign up is price. And if you're fee sensitive, I don't care, go somewhere else. Our prices are great. So it used to be two things. It used to be I got to go work out if I like them, if they like me, what the price is and all that. Now all that's gone. So all the word of mouth, all the organic channels, everything you're doing to curate business comes in the door verified, blue tick, they're ready to go. If you don't sign them once they walk in the door, you're not portraying the same image on your socials as who you are in reality. That's why the authenticity matters. Do you know what I mean? So I think every business should do something, unless it's some weird need. I will not, we deal with 800 business owners, and I will tell, if I think of every single one of them, I can't think of a single business of those 800 that wouldn't benefit by having some sort of social presence. None. But there could be something a bit weird out there that would.
I think what really social media does as well is amplify brands. So you're right to say if we had a business owner follow us in America, would that do us any justice? Absolutely not. There'd be no value out of that. But the fact that we can amplify our brand to get into more eyeballs, if traditionally you had to walk past a restaurant, see which one had the biggest line, then go line up there, versus I can jump online at TikTok and see 4 different options and see who has the biggest line without even going out of my comfort zone or whatever to go visit that restaurant, take a risk and blah, blah, blah. There is something to be said on the amplification of that visual, of that content. So I think there's middle ground. I think, you know what Anita Sarkis says once? Her mum was a great marketer without realizing it, because she used to always fill out her she has a doctor's surgery, and she used to always just get people to wait in the waiting room of the doctor's surgery. And even that just amplifies the brand and does that know, like, and trust so well. So I think there's something to be said about that.
This is exactly what Red Bull did. Do you guys know the story of Red Bull, how they started?
Tell us.
So what Red Bull did was when they first launched, I think in UK, they put their crushed up cans all around the bins as if to pretend that someone had already drunken them.
Oh, wow.
And it just went, like everyone's like, people must be drinking it. It's that word of mouth thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should throw some old tax returns out the front so people know.
I know.
Put some like incredible amount, like a return.
Massive refunds.
Yeah.
Just the ones up. Like,
How did this guy get $13,000 in his tax return, right?
Yeah. It's so funny. All right, very good. Well, final topic, and I'll go to you for this one, Nathan. Talk to us about Temu. Temu's sort of come out of nowhere. And it's become like the cheap alternative. I've never understood Temu because every time I go on their website, there's some new spin the wheel, get some free thing. And with this ban on stuff, bro, I'm not going to spin the wheel because I don't even need your free stuff. I'm done with stuff. But talk to me about Temu. What's so attractive about it? How are they so cheap? And why? Like, is it legit? Because there's a lot of like weird. On TikTok recently, there's like designer brands use the same factory as like the Kmart or Temu brands. Can you just give me a 5-minute breakdown on Temu, what it is, why it's so attractive, why are people buying it and why are people using it?
So what I love the magic of business, right? I think we all get caught up in this, like we got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. But I think whenever you're selling something, there's magic to it. And that's why I love diving into the psychology, because sometimes when you abandon logic, that's when the real magic happens, right? I reckon Temu is really simple. Their biggest audience is actually the boomers.
Right.
Their biggest audience is actually the old people.
Yeah.
And all those spinning games and stuff like that, it actually does, like, the reason why I say this is because my mum is hooked onto that. She's not a boomer yet, but she whenever she goes to the game, she goes, oh my gosh, I just won like $150. Right? But if you look at the little asterisks right at the bottom, which obviously you can't see because, once you hit a certain age, you can't, you're like, it says every person wins. Like every spin is a win.
Yeah.
Right. And so they make you, and they have these awesome they gamify the whole thing to create scarcity.
Yeah.
And so time is ticking, it's scarce, and suddenly you're going, oh my goodness, I need to quickly decide on what I want to buy before my half an hour is up and my $150 has gone away. Which is a load of crap, because as soon as you exit out, it'll ask you again, do you want to come back in and jump into that? Right. But a lot of people who are not familiar with apps, and that's where they get caught. They fall into that trap.
The psychological scam.
Psychological
Have you ever been on
scam.
Temu, John?
I've been on Temu. I bought something. I look at it from the production standpoint.
Yeah.
What we can do with the internet, and they're really smart, is that we can now scale production to artificially pump up demand for a certain product in a certain time, so we can get economies of scale on production.
Correct.
So in the past, you're in a village. In your village, you can only scale up to the point where you can make enough shoes for the 400 people that live in your village. But if all of a sudden your village is 6 billion people, you can scale up so you can produce shoes at 10% of the price if you can sell enough shoes to cover, say, 1 million people. So they use that power of the internet to scale up in bursts and sell products at a huge discount and provide heaps of value. And if you provide heaps of value, the market will come back. And all they got to do is keep coming up with new products to provide heaps of value on, gamify it for the boomers, like you just said, and the model the model is valid, and it's only working now because we now have the means to do that. Obviously globalization, which is going backwards because the tariffs is a different story, but also the internet.
Very good insight. I've got two final questions. I know we're going a little bit over time, but we've got the psychology expert here, so I want to get some tips out of him. So if you're a business owner and you're trying to hack the psychology of the customer or of business, and you're trying to win clients, service them well, do all the things, what are some 3 quick psychology tips that you find are the most effective at elevating a business and moving them forward?
Put together a tier system. Same with the way I do it is like a popcorn box analogy. So when you go to the cinemas, you have your small popcorn box, which is like $3. Oh no, it's like $10 now. $10, yeah. And then you get your medium one, which is about $15, and your large one's about $17. So suddenly your medium and large one just seems to be a little bit more like, well, if I'm going to cross this boundary, I might as well just continue to go. And that's the same as they do with the iPhone Pro and then Pro Max and stuff like that. People go, okay, cool. It makes sense. It makes
incrementally more.
That's right. Yeah. So you want to crack that part where it goes, oh, okay, it makes sense. It's like you break over that psychology and then you go, it makes sense now.
Right.
So that's one simple thing. If you have like, let's say an accounting firm, if you have a retail store and you're selling something, if you have an online shop, right? The reason why, look at what Amazon does really well. Just analyze the big dogs. If you look at all of their checkouts and how they position their logins, all the stuff that you need to take action on, it's always on the right-hand side. It's never on the left-hand side of the screen. And the reason why they do that is because naturally most people, I think like 89% of the world is like right-handers. So if you, like, I think I did a reel about this once as well. If you go to a vending machine, what side is the coin? The right-hand side. Right, everything is sitting on the right-hand side because they want to make it as easy as possible for you. Another tip about Amazon, if you look at the way that the add to cart or the checkout button is, it's never a solid square. It's always a circle because something about rounded edges, rounded buttons, it just makes it more fun, you're more inclined to click it. And that's the whole idea about it. I'm saying like abandon logic, because if you bring all of these psychological stuff to an economist or your the finance team, they're gonna look at it and go, okay, so you want to create a website to compare the market, but your main mascot is a meerkat? Are you serious? No, that meerkat's gonna sell, right? Because there's nothing logical about putting a mascot of a meerkat for selling insurance, but it just works. And so sometimes these psychological things, they don't make sense, but they just work.
Purple cow.
That's excellent. Yeah,
Purple cow.
That's fantastic. So, and for the small business owner, like you can on your website start implementing a circle button, start having the call to actions on the right hand side, start introducing a tiered system. I love that. I love how psychology doesn't just help big business; it also helps a small business owner move their business forward. Last couple of questions. What are you most proud of?
My family.
Love it. Love it. Yeah,
because I think if it wasn't for my wife driving while I was editing videos from in the beginning, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing.
That's beautiful.
And so, and like, again, like the reason I'm here is because my wife is looking after my baby. So I think when all is said and done, if you can add value to the people that are around you, but also look after and appreciate and protect what's at home, that's the most important thing.
I love that. Yeah. It's fantastic. And you've got a cross on, just the final one. Is that part of your faith? Like, tell me about your faith a little bit as well in a nutshell. And I just want to give some airtime to that.
Unashamedly, I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. Jesus saved my life. And also, from a psychology point of view, right, in terms of faith, right, what I love most about speaking to people that are not of faith is that I think at this moment in time, everyone believes that there is something that is higher than them. I think there's last year in America alone, there was a 130% increase in terms of Bible sales, right? And when you look at that, it means that there's a lot of people that are hungry for something, but they're searching. And so for me, as someone who has been blessed and I've been able to encounter God, and if I have something good, for example, if I find a really nice restaurant, right, I'm not going to gatekeep that. I'm going to share with people. Like, it's up to you whether you want to go to that restaurant or not, right? But I'm going to create content about that. I'm gonna share about that restaurant because it's a good meal. And if you don't like it, then I'm not the one that's trying to. I'm not here to save you. I'm just here to share with you what's my kind of testimony.
100%. Very cool. Love that. All right. That's epic. Thank you so much for sharing all of those nuggets with us. There's so much in there for every small business owner. John, thank you. So much value. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Nathan. But that was amazing, man.
Nathan, 100%. Our final question is going to be, what question do you think we should ask our next guest, who's actually just in the room as well?
Am I allowed to know? Am I allowed to share? Because I heard what...
Do you want to know who it is? Is that what you're saying?
It's the burger shop, right?
Yeah. And we can ask Tufik as well, because I think Tufik's our next guest as well.
Is there a way that you guys can help support people? Okay, look, every burger right now costs about $20. Like minimum $15 for a burger, right? Is there a way that you can actually bring the cost down and create something that actually benefits people during this cost of living time? Because if you do that, right, people naturally think, oh, this business is trying to help me feed my family as
Virtues,
well.
yeah.
What you do is, it's not even a question now, almost like a tip. I don't know if you will.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a question. Like, is there a way that they can do that?
Yeah.
Because what they can do is position themselves as like we're here for the people, which is a lot more than what I think a lot of the people trust in the government as well. So when you do that, then you create this raving community and this brand that people go, oh my gosh, they're here for us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. We'll take that in. And we'll make sure we ask you about that. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast, Nathan. Really appreciate your time, brother.
You're a legend, bro.
No, all good.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, brother. Welcome back.